The cargo bay is colder than it should be. Metal breathes, chains hum. Somewhere above you, boots scrape the deck like someone is testing how loud they can be without starting a war. You don't look up, you don't look nervous. You count in your head seconds between footsteps, the rhythm of authority. A flashlight beam slices past the crate you're crouched behind. It pauses, hovers, like it can smell your heartbeat. Your phone vibrates once, a single word from a burner number, move. That's the trap with smuggling. It's never the police you're most afraid of. It's the people who paid you. You slide your hand under the tarp, feel the plastic-wrapped edges of the shipment, and you realize something too late. The seal is different, not your seal, someone changed it. Meaning someone touched your load. Meaning someone is making a statement. And the question is who's watching you. It's who has already decided you're expendable. Because in this world, the ranks aren't titles. They're graves you haven't stepped into yet. Zoom out and the system looks almost normal. A ladder, a chain of command, a meritocracy for people who can't call the police when things go wrong. But the smuggling hierarchy is just society with the mask ripped off. Status is protection, loyalty is a currency, fear is the language everyone pretends not to speak. You're going to move through every rank bottom to top, not like a fantasy but like a psychological autopsy. You'll feel what life is like at each level, how power reshapes behavior, what it costs mentally to rise, and why the top is never safe. Most people think the danger is getting caught. The real danger is getting trusted. At the bottom, you're a runner. Daily reality is motion without meaning. You drive, you walk, you wait in parking lots that smell like old rain and cheap coffee. You carry envelopes, SIM cards, passports, small packages that fit inside a jacket lining. You never ask what's inside because questions are an unpaid luxury. Your phone is your leash. A text tells you where to go, another text tells you who not to look at. You learn fast. The less personality you show, the longer you live. You become polite, forgettable, and useful. The psychological shift happens quietly. You stop thinking in days and start thinking in errands. Life becomes a series of micro-missions, and the mission always matters more than you. That's how control begins, by shrinking your world until you can't imagine leaving it. Hidden pressure? Everyone thinks the runner is invisible. He is. He's the easiest to replace, which means he's the easiest to sacrifice. When heat comes down, they don't protect you, they offer you. Consequences of failure are humiliating before they're violent. You miss a pickup and they don't yell, they go silent. Your next job comes with a stranger watching you the entire time. If you panic, you're done. If you talk, you're erased. Not always with a bullet, sometimes with paperwork, a tip, a planted item, a life rerouted into a prison sentence. And the tension is this: you think the next level is freedom. It is. It's ownership. Next, you become a mule. Daily reality is weight, sometimes literal. You swallow pellets and count the hours until your stomach becomes a ticking clock. Or you wear a belt with stitched compartments and walk through fluorescent airport corridors, trying to look bored instead of terrified. Your mouth goes dry at random because your body doesn't know the difference between danger and memory. You learn rituals: how to breathe when a dog passes, how to smile at a customs officer without offering too much eye contact, how to act annoyed at delays like a normal traveler. You rehearse normality like a role you can't forget. The psychological shift is where the trap tightens. You start believing you're brave, but bravery in a hierarchy often isn't courage, it's desperation with a costume on. You begin measuring your worth in risk. If you survive something, you feel chosen. Here's the hidden pressure: the mule is a container, not a partner. You're not carrying contraband, you're carrying the organization's ability to deny you. If you get caught, you're a lone actor. If you die, you were careless. Your name won't be spoken above a whisper because mentioning you creates liability. Consequences of failure are immediate and intimate. Jail, yes, but also hospital beds, ruptures, infections, your body becoming evidence. And if you survive, you come out with a new problem. You know too much, but you're still too low to matter. So you aim higher, you want leverage. That's how you become a courier. Most people think power gives you control. It doesn't, it gives you enemies. The courier's daily reality is coordination. You're not just carrying, you're routing. You memorize train schedules, port shifts, camera blind spots. You're the bridge between small-time handlers and real infrastructure. You deal with fake documents, safe houses, and clean vehicles, cars that don't trigger attention because they look like someone's uncle drives them. Your phone stops being a leash and becomes a weapon. You learn to speak in half sentences. You know how to confirm something without confirming it. You know how to deny something without lying because lies can be tested. Vagueness can't. The psychological shift here is identity. You stop calling yourself unlucky or poor, you start calling yourself professional, and professionalism is a sedative. It makes you forget you're still disposable. Hidden pressure, you now touch multiple cells. That means you can be blamed for everything that goes wrong between them. The runner gets blamed for a missed drop. The mule gets blamed for a seizure at the gate. The courier gets blamed for patterns, for routes that repeat, for a camera that caught a familiar jacket. You become the organization's superstition. If something goes wrong, it must be you. Consequences of failure aren't just punishment, they're audits. Your calls get reviewed by men who don't show their faces. People you introduced get checked. And you learn a cruel truth: in crime hierarchies, loyalty is often fear disguised as respect. If you survive, you get promoted not because they trust you, because they can't afford to replace what you know. That's when you become a cell coordinator. Daily reality is people management in a world where HR is violence. You don't move product with your hands anymore, you move it through human behavior. You recruit, you test, you watch who talks too much, who drinks too much, who suddenly buys something expensive. You run small teams that never meet. Compartmentalization becomes your religion. One crew handles storage, one handles transport, one handles paperwork. Nobody knows the full map except you. The psychological shift is intoxicating at first. Hope, real hope. You can finally see a future where you're not sweating at border crossings. You start thinking about buying time, paying debts, moving your family, building a legitimate front. Then the hidden pressure reveals itself. Your job is to create plausible deniability for people above you and plausible blame for people below you. You become the shock absorber. Every mistake funnels into you because you're close enough to touch, far enough to discard. Consequences of failure are political. You won't just be punished, you'll be replaced. And replacement isn't gentle. They don't remove you, they rewrite you. Your network gets reassigned. Your contacts stop answering. Your reputation becomes a warning story told to new recruits. He got sloppy. That phrase is a death sentence in slow motion. And now you glimpse the next level, the people who don't just coordinate operations. They negotiate power. You become a broker. Daily reality is conversations that don't sound like threats but are built from them. You sit in quiet restaurants with loud security. You speak with exporters, corrupt officials, freight managers, militia intermediaries, gang lieutenants, people who can open doors or close them forever. You don't sell a product anymore, you sell certainty that a shipment will arrive, that a problem will disappear, that a border will be soft on a specific night. Your value is in your relationships, and relationships in this world are just debts with nice suits. The psychological shift is control. You start believing you can predict people. You learn to read micro-expressions to sense hunger, vanity, resentment. You can feel when someone wants to be respected versus when they want to be feared. Then comes the hidden pressure. Every relationship you build creates a new hostage. Sometimes the hostage is a person you love. Sometimes it's your own past. Brokers don't get blackmailed with secrets, they get blackmailed with patterns. Someone screenshots your messages, someone records you saying a name you shouldn't know. Suddenly you're not negotiating deals, you're negotiating your continued breathing. Consequences of failure are theatrical, public arrests. Examples: a broker who flips is a contagion. They don't just kill you, they erase your credibility because credibility is your entire currency. Without it, you're not dangerous. And beyond the broker is the rank people romanticize until they see what it costs. The logistics architect. Daily reality is infrastructure. Ships, warehouses, shell companies, insurance scams, customs brokers, manufacturing invoices. You design the machine so that illegal cargo looks like boring commerce. Your work is spreadsheets, schedules, and legal language because the cleanest crimes wear clean paperwork. You don't think in kilos, you think in supply chains. Your battlefield is bureaucracy. The psychological shift is paranoia because you finally understand the truth. The bigger the system, the more it leaks. One disgruntled accountant, one dock worker with a gambling problem, one official who wants to look heroic for a promotion. When you operate at scale, you don't fear a single raid, you fear a tiny inconsistency that creates a pattern. Here's the hidden pressure nobody expects. You start losing your sense of what's real. Everyone you meet has a role, everyone has a price. Even kindness feels like a transaction. You stop enjoying silence because silence means your mind has room to invent betrayals. Consequences of failure are catastrophic, not just for you, for dozens of people whose names you don't even know, and that weight changes you. You begin to justify ugly things because you tell yourself you're preventing worse outcomes. That's how power reduces empathy, not by making you evil but by making you tired. The tension bridge is brutal. There's one rank above you. The rank that doesn't move cargo. It has consequences. You become the director. Daily reality becomes distant. You don't touch shipments, you don't cross borders, you don't speak to runners, you speak to people who speak to people. Layers insulate you. Your security team rotates routes without telling you until the last second. Your family lives inside a performance of normality, schools, dinners, vacations, all quietly monitored. Meetings happen in places designed to feel harmless. Gyms, clinics, charity galas, every handshake is a risk assessment, every smile is measured. The psychological shift is isolation. The higher you rise, the fewer equals you have. Everyone below you wants your approval. Everyone beside you studies your weaknesses. Everyone above you calculates your margins. You stop having conversations, you start having negotiations. And the hidden pressure is the ugliest part. You can't relax without endangering someone. Your presence changes rooms. If you enter, attention follows. If you speak, it's remembered. If you drink, it's analyzed. The myth of power is freedom. The reality is constant perception management. Failure here isn't punishment. It's succession. The machine doesn't collapse if you slip. It replaces you, maybe with a scandal, maybe with a sealed indictment, maybe with a quiet funeral and a cleaner narrative. At this altitude, violence wears a suit. So answer this honestly. Would you rise in a system where every promotion makes you more valuable and more trapped? Or stay invisible, safe, and broke, knowing you walked away from the throne? Because the final level isn't a title. It's a condition. The ghost counsel whether one person or a hidden circle operates like a rumor with capital. You don't move shipments, you select outcomes, which conflicts are allowed, which alliances survive. Instability is your real enemy because instability attracts attention and attention destroys empires. You live inside risk calculus: who advances, who disappears, which betrayal buys time. Your schedule is full, your life is empty. Eventually, you stop believing in loyalty, not from cynicism but from pattern recognition. Devotion fades when benefits fade. At the top, you can't retire, the door looks like a threat. That's the twist. Power is a trade paid with your nervous system. Control is an illusion. You don't own the machine, you sustain it. The top isn't victory. It's simply the loneliest place to be afraid.